Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. And there was war in heaven. This phrase, recorded in the book of Revelation, reveals a cosmic event that many are unaware of, a war that took place even before the creation of this world. But what was this war? Who were the ones involved? According to the Scriptures, this conflict was not a mere earthly battle, but a struggle between spiritual beings created by God Himself. A celestial rebellion of unimaginable proportions that shaped the reality we know today. But is this war mentioned only in the book of Revelation? Or are there hidden clues in other sacred texts, especially in the Old Testament? The answer may surprise you. In this video, we will explore the mysteries of this great cosmic conflict and its implications for the past, present, and future of humanity. So, before we embark on this revealing journey, I ask you to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss any details of this ancient enigma. Get ready to uncover hidden truths. And there was war in heaven, the hidden history of the Bible. If you search on YouTube, you'll find countless videos attempting to explain the fall of Satan or the origin of Lucifer. Each presents a different version of the heavenly war, an enigmatic event that, according to some, occurred even before the creation of the world. But there's an even more intriguing question. Has this war already happened, or is it yet to come? While some argue that it is a future event, I firmly believe that this conflict has already taken place. The biblical texts seem to be clear about this, revealing an astonishing narrative of rebellion in the heavenly realms. But what was the true origin of the heavenly war? What triggered this insurrection? What led the fallen angels to defy the Creator? And most importantly, who exactly was Satan before his fall? Was he an angel, an archangel, a cherub, or a seraph? What was his true name before becoming the adversary? The war in heaven was a colossal spiritual battle, a clash between supernatural forces that divided the heavens themselves. On one side, the angels faithful to the Creator, on the other, those who chose rebellion. This narrative is not only found in the book of Revelation, but also has parallels in the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, and even the enigmatic Dead Sea Scrolls. Few people know that the Dead Sea Scrolls contain accounts of a cosmic war dating back to immemorial times. These manuscripts, which were part of the sacred collection read by ancient Jews as early as 200 to 300 years before Christ, describe a conflict that echoes at the heart of religious traditions, the great battle between celestial forces. According to these texts, this war was ignited by a celestial being whom Christianity would later identify as Satan. In an act of rebellion against God, he gathered followers and initiated an unprecedented uprising. On the other side, the loyal angels remained under the leadership of the mighty Archangel Michael, the commander of the divine hosts. There is an intriguing detail that sparks debate to this day. Many believe that angels do not possess free will, as if they were programmed beings incapable of questioning. However, the very war in heaven suggests otherwise. If there was division, if there was rebellion, it means that these beings had the ability to choose between loyalty and betrayal. After all, for a conflict to arise, there must be opposing views, distinct choices, and conscious decisions. But there is something even deeper in this story. According to the Scriptures, God always knew the outcome of this battle. Even before the creation of the world, He had already determined the fate of the rebellious angel. The proof of this lies in a powerful Christian concept. Christ, the Lamb of God, was considered sacrificed before the foundation of the world. This means that God had foreknowledge of everything that would happen, and Satan's destiny was sealed from the very beginning. In the New Testament, this celestial war becomes the foundation for the idea of fallen angels and Satan's ultimate exile to hell. The conflict that began in the heavens had consequences that still resonate today, shaping how we interpret the eternal struggle between good and evil. The celestial war has been one of the most powerful and enigmatic images in Christian tradition, often depicted in works of art and literature. One of the most iconic examples is John Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost, which describes the divine conflict as a three-day battle, triggered by the moment when God the Father proclaims Jesus Christ as his Son and sovereign over all creation. The biblical basis for this war can be found in Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 to 10. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was there a place found for them in heaven any more. So the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. The Christian tradition has always preserved the narrative of angelic beings being cast out of heaven as divine punishment. Many interpretations attribute this task directly to God himself, but through the connection between this passage from Revelation and the tradition of war in heaven, the one responsible for leading this expulsion became the archangel Michael by God's command. An intriguing detail in this account is the mention of the dragon's tail, which, according to the vision in Revelation, cast a third of the stars of heaven to the earth. This symbolism has been interpreted as the fall of a third of the angels, those who followed Satan in his rebellion. However, a point of controversy arises when analyzing the order of events. The casting of the stars is described even before the war begins. This raises questions about the exact moment of the rebellion and the role of these angels in the unfolding of the cosmic conflict. But after all, what was the sin that led to Satan's fall? Many believe it was envy. However, the scriptures, both in the Old and New Testaments, point to something even deeper and more destructive: pride. It wasn't merely the lust for power, but rather absolute arrogance. Satan did not merely desire a place of prominence, he saw himself as superior to everyone, even God. His downfall came not from a desire to be equal to the Creator, but from the conviction that he could replace him. The war in heaven was not merely an episode of rebellion, but a milestone in the battle between light and darkness, an echo that reverberates through history and humanity's beliefs. Satan's fall, his expulsion, and the fate of his followers are constant reminders of the danger of unchecked pride and the eternal struggle between good and evil. The root of Satan's fall is often associated with his excessive pride, a theme addressed in both the Old and New Testaments. In the Old Testament, this arrogance is mentioned in the books of Ezekiel and Isaiah, while in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, in 1 Timothy 3:6, also refers to this pride as the cause of his downfall. Many people question the description of the celestial war and Satan's fall, as there is no direct and detailed narrative in the Old Testament. However, there are indirect mentions, subtle allusions that draw parallels with this cosmic event. One of the most notable examples is in Isaiah 14:4-17, where the fall of the morning star is mentioned, cast down from heaven to earth. In verse 12 of this passage, the Hebrew word for morning star was translated into Latin as Lucifer. This translation led to the popularization of the name Lucifer as a title for Satan, mainly due to its connection with the story of the fallen morning star. However, there is an important detail. In the original context, light-bearer, the literal meaning of Lucifer in Latin, was a generic term used to describe the morning star, a title frequently associated with angels. In other words, Lucifer was not a proper name, but rather a luminous attribute, later associated with the figure of the fallen angel. Another relevant passage is in Ezekiel 28:14, where there is a description of a fallen cherub who, because of his presumption and pride, was cast out from the presence of God and thrown into the abyss. This cherub, described as one who dwelt on the holy mount of God and walked among fiery stones, carries characteristics often attributed to Satan. These passages, along with the account in Revelation, form a biblical puzzle about the celestial war and the fall of one who was once one of the most exalted among the angels. His pride led him to ruin, and his rebellion marked the beginning of a conflict that reverberates to this day, influencing the way humanity understands the struggle between light and darkness. A detail that should not be overlooked is that both Ezekiel 28 and Isaiah 14 are not directly dealing with the celestial fall. Although many associate these passages with Satan's rebellion, the original context of these texts points to something different. They refer to the king of Tyre and the king of Babylon, respectively. However, the symbolic language used in these scriptures creates intriguing parallels with the narrative of the war in heaven, leading many scholars to see these texts as indirect allusions to the fall of the rebellious angel. But are these the only pieces of evidence for a celestial war? The answer is no. Thanks to the discoveries of the Dead Sea Scrolls, we know that this concept was already widely spread among the Jews of that time and even centuries before Christ. These texts, considered sacred by many at the time, provide surprising details about a cosmic conflict that took place before the creation of the world. Among the most relevant documents are the War Scroll, 1QM 4Q491-497, also known as the War of the Sons of Light against the Sons of Darkness, the Song of the Sabbath Sacrifice, 4Q402, the Melchizedek document, 11Q13. The War Scroll, in particular, offers an impressive description of what seems to be an ancient version of the celestial battle described in the Book of Revelation. According to this text, the angels of light, led by the general of the heavenly armies, the archangel Michael, also called the Prince of Light, faced the forces of darkness in the heavens. On the other side were the fallen angels, commanded by a dark entity named Belial, while the sons of light fought battles on earth against the sons of darkness. A parallel war took place in the heavens. The scroll mentions that, in the final of the 7 battles described, the angels of light would descend to intervene directly and ensure the ultimate victory of good over evil. This raises an intriguing question. Could this be the same war mentioned in the Book of Revelation? Was the Apostle John, writing his visions on the island of Patmos, already familiar with this concept? The truth is that for the Jews of that time, this celestial battle was not new. They had known this tradition for centuries. Another curious detail is that the name Belial, used in the Dead Sea Scrolls to identify the leader of the darkness, is one of the oldest names attributed to Satan. This name appears in other ancient Jewish texts, and even in the New Testament, where Jesus makes an allusion to Beelzebub, another designation for the celestial enemy. This suggests that the concept of a war in the heavens, the rebellion of a powerful angel, and his expulsion, was already a deeply rooted belief long before Christianity. Records of this battle echo through the centuries, appearing both in biblical texts and in ancient manuscripts that were only discovered in the 20th century, bringing new layers of meaning to one of the most fascinating mysteries of theology. In the New Testament, some enigmatic clues may be linked to ancient texts found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Among them is the Song of the Sabbath Sacrifice, described by scholars as a possible reference to an eschatological war in the heavens, similar to the one mentioned in the Melchizedek document, 11Q13, and the rule of war. Interestingly, these texts not only speak of the archangel Michael as the leader of the heavenly forces, they suggest that Melchizedek, a mysterious figure who appears in both the Old and New Testaments, may play a crucial role in this cosmic battle. According to the writings found at Qumran, Melchizedek is not just a priest, but a divine warrior, someone directly involved in the conflict against the forces of darkness. This connects with what is described in the Book of Revelation, where Michael leads the fight against the dragon and his fallen angels. The possibility that Melchizedek has an active role in this event suggests an even deeper dimension in the battle between light and darkness, a war that transcends time and projects itself into the future. The Dead Sea Scrolls, whose copies predate the time of Christ, offer a surprising vision of the celestial war, an event that, according to these records, not only happened in the past, but will repeat in the future. And you, were you aware of these hidden details in the Dead Sea Scrolls about the celestial war? If you want to learn more, keep exploring these mysteries, because there is much more than we can imagine. May God bless you, and see you soon.